Hey, welcome back to my channel. This is Elizabeth with Mad for Macrame, and today I'm going to show you how to crochet this heart basket, just in time for Valentine's Day. Today for this project, you'll need a wooden heart base. These are available on my shop. I'll add the link in the description, and a couple different sizes and crochet hooks. You can use a 7 millimeter or an 8 millimeter to attach the cord to your base and then change to a 9 for the walls, or you could just use an 8 millimeter for the entire basket. You'll also need a tapestry needle and some scissors. You'll also need about a half a roll of Bobini's 5 millimeter braided cord. Today I'm going to use the color burgundy. When you're using this braided cord, always remember to start pulling the yarn from the side that has the knot. That'll keep you from running into tangles and knots as you work, and you should be able to work straight off with the skein. For this heart basket, I like to start my stitches between the point and then the top arch. I just don't want that seam or that invisible join where we join the rounds to end up in an awkward place. So starting from the point, you want to count back 5 stitches. This will be our first stitch where we're going to begin. For this basket, we're going to need to create some increases. So from that first stitch, that will be stitch number 1. Stitch number 6 will be the point. We're going to place an increase here. Then count to stitch number 16. And we're going to place an increase here. And you can mark these with stitch markers and keep those in so you remember, or you can just stitch and count as you go. We need to place another increase on stitch number 34. It's directly across from stitch 16. So what those increases do is they make the basket a little bit wider so it doesn't shrink in as we crochet. I'm going to take my stitch markers out. They kind of bug me as I work, but it's up to you if you want to use them or not. Go ahead and grab some cord. And I forgot to mention that I do have a free PDF pattern available on my website, and I will link that in the description too. So you want to leave your tail about 10 to 12 inches long and create a loop. For round 1, you're going to start in that stitch, the 5th hole back from the point. Add that loop on your hook and pull up a loop. Now grab your working cord. Make sure not to use the tail. Yarn over and pull through. This is a chain 1. Now that we've locked this cord in place, for this round we're going to create single crochet stitches. And to make a single crochet, you want to insert your hook in the hole and pull up a loop. Now you have 2 on your hook. Then yarn over and pull through both. And again, you're going to insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both. Keep doing this until we get to the point. For stitch number 6, this is where we're going to increase, and you're going to do a single crochet, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both, Then you're going to go back into the same hole and place a second single crochet. Keep working single crochets until you get to hole 16. We need to place another increase here. So we're going to make our first single crochet. And we're going to go back into that same hole and make a second stitch. Now continue working around the heart, placing an increase on stitch number 34. And I'll meet you back at the end of this round and show you how to do the last hole or the last stitch. I made it to my last hole. I wanted to let you know that I did change my hook to an 8mm. I really think a 7 is just, it's too loose for me. My tension was getting too tight, so I did change to an 8. So on the last stitch, you're going to insert your hook and pull up a loop. We're just creating another single crochet. But before we yarn over, we're going to switch cords and we're going to switch to use the tail. So yarn over with the tail and then pull that cord all the way through. You may need to tighten up. Now we're going to create an invisible close. We want to make sure the stitches all look the same. So to close this round, on the first stitch of the last round, the top stitch, for this top V here, you're going to insert your hook from the back and you're going to pull that cord through. We're trying to create that little V. So the cord needs to go right here in the last stitch that we created. So I'm going to flip this over and insert my hook through the center of that last stitch. And I like to pick up that second back loop just because it keeps it more secure and it doesn't pull loose. So pull the cord through. You may have to make some adjustments just to make sure that your stitches are the same size. To begin round 2, I'm going to switch to my 9mm hook. And that last stitch we created, where the tail is sticking out of the inside, we're going to insert our hook in the back loop. So it goes in the center of the last stitch we created. And I'm also grabbing that second back loop just to make it a little tighter. Grab your working cord, pull up a loop, and then chain 1. For this round, we're going to create single crochets again. You don't have to worry about increases, but we're going to insert our hook in these back loops. And I am going to grab that second back loop behind it. So these V's, you kind of want to go in the center of them. That's called the back loop. This gives your basket like a little edge to sit on. And then this is the second back loop behind it. You don't have to go under this loop. That's totally up to you. I just think it feels a little more secure, picking up both of those loops as you stitch. Insert your hook in that back loop or those back two loops. Pull up a loop, and then you yarn over and pull through both, just like before. Continue working around your heart, and I'll meet you back for that last single crochet. As I was finishing up this round, I wanted to mention to you that in this top little dip in the heart, these 3 center stitches are really tight. It's hard to pick up that second back loop, I think because the stitches are just so crowded here. If you can't, leave it out, just grab that first back loop that we talked about, or you could also even change and use a smaller hook size, like 1 step down, just for these 3 stitches to make it easier. This round is making the side walls of your basket, and you always turn them up. We're looking at the bottom right now. And then this row, you can see you want to turn it away from you. Now to close this round, on that last single crochet, I'm going to insert your hook, pull up a loop, and before you yarn over, switch and use the tail. Just like we did on the previous round, we're going to use the tail to close. So yarn over and then pull that cord all the way through. Now we're going to create an invisible close. In that first stitch, top stitch, you want to insert your hook from the back and then pull that yarn through on the last stitch on the previous round. You want to insert your hook from the back side underneath those back 2 loops and pull the cord through. Closing the rounds with the tail, this makes it completely seamless. Now for round 3, we're actually going to make waistcoat stitches. Waistcoat stitches are just single crochets, but you're going to place your hook in the V, these front V's. Kind of hard to see on this dark color. Directly below the top stitches, where those 2 top stitches meet, you'll see a V on the front, 2 posts with a hole in the middle. That's where you're going to insert your hook for all of these stitches on this round. Place your hook in that front V of the last stitch we created. So where the tail's sticking out of the back, on the front side you'll see a V. That's where you're going to place your hook. And now you want to pull up a loop. And we're going to chain one. For the waistcoat stitches, insert your hook in that front V. I like to check the back to make sure that I'm splitting those two posts. Pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through both. Continue with your waistcoat stitches all the way around the heart, and I'll meet you back on the last stitch and show you how to join the rounds. I just realized I forgot to hide my tail. So I'll meet you back for those last few stitches and show you how you can hide it on this back side too. I have a few stitches left on this round, and I wanted to show you how to hide the tail if you forget when you first start. Leave about 4 or 5 stitches from the end, and when you insert your hook in that V, make sure that you place the tail on top of the hook. You're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. That loop and stitch is actually going to go around that tail, just like if you did it in the other direction. See how the tail is hidden behind the stitches? Just like if it were in the other direction. I'm going to clip the excess off, and no one will ever know I forgot. To join the rounds, you're going to use the invisible join. So you want to pull out your hook, make your loop a little bit bigger, and on that first V, I'm going to insert your hook from the back and pull that loop through. Now remove your hook. Make sure that this loop isn't too big or too little. If it's too big, you'll see it on the inside of the basket, and if it's too small, it's easy to pull through. Directly below the loop and to the right is the V that you want to use. So insert your hook in that V. Make sure it splits the posts. Pull up a loop. Now you have one on your hook and then add that loop that we pulled through back on your hook. Now that both are on our hook, I'm going to yarn over and pull through both. This invisible join counts as the first stitch on the next round. It makes a horizontal V and it makes the top V also. To finish up the basket, you're just going to continue making waistcoat stitches and then an invisible join. Waistcoat stitches, invisible join. I'm going to finish up a couple rounds. When I'm done with round 6, following this same sequence, I'll meet you back and show you this little design I like to finish up with. I finished up round 6, just completing those waistcoat stitches for 4 and 5 and 6 and doing an invisible join in between each round. But here I think I'm at the height that I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and clip my yarn. And we need to grab our tapestry needle. So we're going to pull that yarn all the way through. And we want to create a fake stitch here or an invisible close, just so our top looks seamless. Thread your needle, insert your needle from bottom to top on that first V, and pull the cord through. Now we need to go through the middle of the last stitch on that round. So it goes right here. And then on the inside, I think I'm just going to go ahead and thread it under that extra back loop, just so it's a little tighter. Go ahead and weave in the ends under a couple stitches and then clip off the excess. You can actually leave your basket this way, and it's really pretty. But I want to make this little design on the outside. So take some cord and wrap that cord around your basket 3 times. This will make sure that it's long enough to do this design, and then add just a little extra. And cut that piece. Grab your tapestry needle and on the top stitch of the basket, from bottom to top, insert your needle and pull that cord through, just leaving a small tail. Working your way around those top stitches, just going from bottom to top in the same direction. Just weave the cord around. It makes a nice little spiral effect on the top of the basket. I'm going to finish this up and then I'm going to weave in my tails and clip off any excess cord I have, and I'll show you how it turns out. I love it. I think it turned out really cute. Just that simple little design on those top stitches really gave it something special. If you like this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great Valentine's Day.